Hey baby girls, welcome back to another YouTube tutorial. In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you how to perform a half leg wax on a client. So first, I'm going to show you what products you will need to do this treatment. A waxing cleanser is a must to prep the skin ready for waxing. I like to decant my cleanser into these pump bottles. You will also need an after wax lotion to soothe the skin after waxing. Again, I like to work from these amber bottles. Also, you will need an after wax oil. This is a lifesaver when waxing. I will show you later. Then you will need some waxing spatulas. I like to have them easy access, so I work from this glass tumbler. I find working with paper strips so much easier than fabric. I also like to have these easy and accessible. Let's not forget a good pair of tweezers and some cotton pads. Finally, a wax you love to work with. I prefer a gel wax. It applies nice and thin and it's easier to work with. So let's begin our treatment. Adjust your client's leg so the knee is bent. This will allow you to get a better application. Then I'm going to cleanse Nika's leg to make sure there are no oils and moisturisers sat on her skin. I do this using a tissue and the pre-wax cleanser. Whilst the leg is drying, I make sure to test the wax on the inside of my arm to make sure the wax is at perfect temperature. Once I'm satisfied, I am now ready to wax the legs. So you want to make sure your spatula has only wax on one side, as too much wax will become too messy and harder to apply. Then start just below the knee and spread the wax with the spatula at a 45-degree angle. Then go back in and repeat the process, making sure you spread down to the ankle. I like to repeat this until the front lobe wants to get too cool. Now it's time for the wax strips. Apply the strip with firm pressure to the area you first applied the wax, making sure you leave a nice tab to grip the strip with. Then, stretching the skin, pull the strip in the opposite direction to the hair growth. As you can see, I'm struggling to remove the wax on Nika's ankle. This can be a number of things. The skin is too cool, which cools the wax down, making it harder to remove. Or the area can be too dry, or you're not working fast enough, which again can make the wax too cool. Never worry if this happens, just keep applying the strip with firm pressure, and sometimes it needs a slightly different angle and it will come off. Carry on removing your wax using a fresh strip when it starts to feel too full. If you see any sticky bits, just go over again with the wax strips just to clean up any wax. I noticed a couple of areas that had a few hairs remaining, so I applied a little more wax to those little spots and removed once more. Picking up my tweezers, I just make sure I haven't missed a single hair. I spot some hairs on the toes and feet, so before I wax, I just rub the toes and feet to warm up the skin. Baby girls, you will thank me later for this tip, as any waxer can tell you the wax often sticks to those areas when they're cold. I noticed one hair, so I tweezed that little bugger out. The wax usually gets stuck on Nika's knees, so I'm only going to wax half at a time to make my life easier. Usually, the reason why this happens is because your clients have got dry knees, so you'll figure out later on which clients this happens to and which ones it doesn't. Then using my strip, I begin to remove the wax. When pulling the strips off the tops of the legs, I always ask my ladies to help me stretch the skin. This will stop them from bruising and also will make the removal easier. My hands have started to feel a little sticky. So pouring a little after wax oil on my hands takes that stickiness away. Then I carry on with the other half of the knee. Using my oil again, I just wipe the little sticky areas on Nika's knee. Once I'm happy there is no more hair, I finish off the fronts of the legs with some after lotion. This, guys, is the best bit. Then I'm ready for the next leg. So when I use my spatula, I make sure I'm swizzling the stick the whole time. This stops the wax from falling off the stick and stops you from getting in a mess. I even do this every time I finish my application when I get to the bottom of the leg. I check the area to see if I've missed anything. If so, I use a little more wax and remove again. I'm going to warm the foot once again to get ready for waxing. Now it's time to tackle another dry knee. I remember when I was starting out and I used to really dread doing the knees because some areas used to get stuck, but you just need to remember to not panic, just keep pressing firmly with the wax strip, and before you know it, the knees will be a walk in the park. I'm just going to remove this little bit of wax that I've left on the knee using some oil. There is a little area I couldn't quite reach from my angle, so I asked Nika to lay her leg in this position so I can wax this little section. Once I'm happy the fronts are all hair free, I apply the after wax lotion and leave it to soak into the skin. As you can see, the other leg has absorbed all the leftover product. Rolling your client over to their front, it's time for the backs of the legs. Cleanse the backs of the legs before we begin. And position their foot like this. It helps stretch out the backs of the legs, which helps keep the skin nice and taut for an easier application. I apply the wax just below the knee crease and cover all the backs of the legs with the wax. Then I remove with my strips. I much prefer waxing the backs of the legs actually. They're so much easier than the fronts. Just because they're not as bony and there's not as many creases and crevices. They're just, I don't know, I like the backs of the legs more than the fronts. The reason why I only wax below that crease is because that bit of the crease is really sensitive area. So you kind of don't want to put loads of wax over there and then be pulling it off because the skin's a little bit fragile there. So that's why I like to do that bit separately. I can see there's a few little hairs just behind the crease. So I'm just going to apply a little thin bit of wax and just take away those few little hairs. So like I said earlier, it's quite a sensitive area, but because there's not that much hair there, it actually doesn't hurt that much when you wax this area. Then I'm going to finish the leg using some after lotion one final time to soothe all that leg. And I like to just give a little mini massage for this bit as well because it feels really nice. And then you just want to repeat the same process on the next leg. When I get to this area, the hairs are growing in a slightly different direction. So I adjust my wax strip to remove the hairs in the opposite direction. This prevents the hairs from snapping and also prevents any ingrown hairs. Remember to always remove the strips in the opposite direction of the hair growth. And then to finish, I just use some more after wax lotion to soothe the area. Once I'm happy the backs of the legs are all done, I then roll Nika back over to her front. So I always like to roll them back over and inspect all the areas to make sure I've not missed any hairs. And I also ask my client to check to make sure all the hairs are removed, because sometimes you can see the odd hair or two from a slightly different angle. And there we have it, perfectly smooth legs. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell button so you never miss a new video. Thank you. Bye.